she came over and knocked on my door, I was in that closet with a pistol in my hand. And for some reason, she had yelled it was her at the door. And for some reason, even though she would have never went in there, I actually hid that pistol under a blanket like a kid being ashamed of something he was caught doing. And I answered the door and we got in this argument. And in the argument, she asked me a question that radically changed my life. She asked me how I could do everything I did to become a recon Marine, training for these deployments, doing these crazy things I did in the military, to train for these fights, losing 35 pounds of weight and the amount of discipline it takes to train for these fights and do all the things I did in my life professionally. It's like, how could you do all of that, and when it comes to your family, you'll quit? And I don't know about the rest of you men in here, but to me, there's no more soul-cutting word than to be called a quitter. But she was absolutely right. I had been successful in professional things in my life. When it came to the most important things, being a husband, being a father, being that young 17-year-old kid that raised his hand and said, I want to do something important with my life. I quit on all those things, including my own will to live and my own health. And it was time for me to make a change. I didn't know how, but I knew I couldn't do it with the people I was surrounded with. I knew I couldn't do it alone. It still amazes me, and it's very humbling to me right now in my life to look at the ministry at Mighty Oaks and see people following, maybe not following me, but headed in the same direction as me, the direction that I found. And those who have been privileged to show the way forward, they're doing the same thing for others. That's the discipleship process. They're doing the same thing for so many others, and it makes me so proud of them, because this is the plan that God designed for us to do, to rescue the world. To be able to take that message of hope and restoration and share it with others is God's exponential process that continues on and on and on to the end of this world. And I believe with a very deep passion that when, as individuals, we find ourselves outside of those valleys in our life, and that we have experienced a relationship with Christ, I believe we have a responsibility, an obligation to share that with others, to share with others what we learned. Outside of the military, outside of VA, they have organizations like Mighty Oaks. We've tried to fill that gap to bring in other solutions that we know work.
You do great work, just great work.
We're bringing a solution.
How many people are you up to now?
We're 2,600 graduates, but now we're on a rate of about 1,000 a year. Wow. And on the resiliency side, we've just spoke to about 150,000 active duty troops. I just got back from Germany speaking Marine Forces Europe and Africa. Last weekend I was at Marine Corps Boot Camp. Now I get to speak to every recruit at Marine Corps Boot Camp. Will hear me speak on resiliency and spiritual resiliency. And then on the other side, the next day I'm at the General's Quarters speaking to all the commanders of boot camp. So we got the Marine Corps has been amazing. General Neller, who's a commandant, and Sergeant Major Green, they've been incredible to open the doors to us, to allow us to bring the solution to the table. But you know, you could take something really good, for you, like a medicine for having a cold, and you could abuse it. And that's what I did with jiu-jitsu. I took something that could have helped me, and I abused it. Now, I still love jiu-jitsu. I still train. I'm a 3rd-degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu under Carlson Gracie Jr. And ministry is hard. Like, ministry is really hard, so I have stressful days at ministry, at the office, and when I do, I go to the gym, and I find like some 19-year-old stud, and I choke him out. And it makes me feel good, and I get back to work, sharing the gospel. And but in this time in my life, this thing could have been helpful for me, but instead of me putting it in its contacts, I abused it. And I would spend 10, 12 hours a day training in jiu-jitsu. And all it did was a place for me to hide. Some people hide in alcohol, some people hide in pills. That's where I hid.